Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. One should use common words to say uncommon things. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. Treat a work of art like a prince, let it speak to you first. Great men are like eagles, and build their nest on some lofty solitude. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. Hope is the confusion of the desire for a thing with its probability. Marrying means to have one's rights and double one's duties. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. The shortness of life, so often lamented, may be the best thing about it. Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. Faith is like love, it does not let itself be forced. Reading is thinking with someone else's head instead of one's own. Ordinary people merely think how they shall spend their time, a man of talent tries to use it. Life is full of troubles and vexations, that one must either rise above it by means of corrected thoughts, or leave it. After your death, you will be what you were before your birth. No one writes anything worth writing, unless he writes entirely for the sake of his subject. A pessimist is an optimist in full possession of the facts. All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. The universe is a dream dreamed by a single dreamer where all the dream characters dream too. We seldom think of what we have but always of what we lack. Therefore, rather than grateful, we are bitter. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. The reason domestic pets are so lovable and so helpful to us is because they enjoy, quietly and placidly, the present moment. Religions are like fireflies. They require darkness in order to shine. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Thus, the task is not so much to see what no one yet has seen, but to think what nobody yet has thought about that which everybody sees. Our life is a loan received from death with sleep as the daily interest on this loan. Materialism is the philosophy of the subject who forgets to take account of himself. There is something in us that is wiser than our head. Man is never happy, but spends his whole life in striving after something which he thinks will make him so. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. Just remember, once you're over the hill you begin to pick up speed. Man is the only animal who causes pain to others with no other object than wanting to do so. Wealth is like seawater, the more we drink, the thirstier we'll become, and the same is true of fame. Genius and madness have something in common, both live in a world that is different from that which exists for everyone else. To feel envy is human, to savor schadenfreude is devilish. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. You are free to do what you want, but you are not free to want what you want.